we're gonna go. Okay. Hey, Laura. Okay, we both have our cute hats on. You look so cute.
Oh,
This
so do you. Look at this. Festivities,
festivity,
festival.
guys, you know what? We are gonna talk today about some fun stuff. I'm so excited that we both were just like, what are we gonna talk about? What are we gonna talk about? And we wanted to have us talking on this week because we wanted to bring something of value. And I think that we together came up with this really great vibe of how to do this, staying healthy at the holidays, trying to cut down on the stress. Hello, that is like, okay, really? So anyways, it's beautiful sunny. Laura, how you doing? You look great.
I'm doing good. Thank you. And like I said, you look great too. I love dressing up for Halloween. For Christmas, I must have about 7 Christmas shirts.
That's
I'm so
great.
excited this year. I have so many of them. I'm doing great. We're going to talk about this great subject about staying healthy and stress-free holidays. You know? And these are great things because you know what? We don't really, well, during we're invited to parties.
You're going in and out a little. Okay, so could you go a little closer? Okay, just slide your chair up a little bit. Okay.
Okay, yeah, you want to start over?
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Technical. We've been having so many technical difficulties. This time of year, we're invited to so many parties, and we're also so busy that we're just grabbing things and throwing it in our mouths and not paying attention, going through the McDonald's lines with our kids and grandkids and all kinds of stuff. And we're not mindful of our eating. And then we feel like really bad. And I'm just going to tell you a story about what happened to me today, and then we'll go into what we're going to talk about. Okay. A lot of I've lost 60 pounds and everything, and I really watch what I eat. But this morning I was running around and I bought these sugar-free chocolate chip cookies yesterday, and I was really hungry. So I asked Gary to get me some cookies. So I just like shoved them down. And I think I must ate about 8 of them. It's sugar free. You're thinking you're going to be okay. I have the worst headache right now because I did not eat right. Just because it was sugar free, that doesn't mean it was carb free. So that's a lot about what we're going to talk about. We have to be really mindful about what we eat. We can indulge a little bit, but you know what? You end up paying the price if you don't watch what you eat. Right, Deb?
Totally, Lori. And I think that it's surviving Christmas here. We're not going to talk about being like surviving it on a diet.
Yeah.
Say, because you know what, let's face it, you guys, we're gonna have stuff in front of us and we're not gonna be able to like have our willpower going on. But we're not gonna talk necessarily about like that and that stuff. We're gonna kind of focus totally what Lori and I, our whole thing is how you can make your holiday season, first of all, more organized, much more prioritized, plan ahead. And yes, are you gonna have some of those things out there? But try to minimalize that so that we are not having the overeating situation, which makes it's just not feeling well. But
Mhm.
when we motor through this whole talk too about staying healthy for the holidays, we're also going to talk about healthy choices for what we're doing as far as a family. Okay. So, number one, I just want to say one thing. Christmas holiday season, any holiday that we're in, you got to think about what the holiday really is. Okay. And
Mhm.
okay. Is it about the food and the best bakery and everything else? No, it's not. Okay. It's totally about what is happening and where your belief is. And as Lori and I being Christian people and Catholic Christians, we just totally believe the season obviously is all about the birth of Jesus. We know that, right? But we also
Right.
time that everybody spends extra time getting together with the family. And we also want to make sure that the environment that we're providing in our home or wherever we're going to, but in our homes, because a lot of us host, that we can do the best to have everything in check and in balance. Okay. So it means the food, but it also means the family camaraderie, which leads to also let's try to cut down on the stress the day of the days prior because that's not going to help the person who's hosting. It's also not going to help the people that are coming. So that makes sense. Okay.
Yes.
So first of all, I'll just start off with saying that, prioritize the nutritional stuff that you're having. Okay. Yeah, you're gonna have some meats and you're gonna have whatever, and you're gonna have some snacks and you're gonna have whatever. But try to create a variety there. So if someone there has a dietary issue at the moment or yourself, there's a variety of things to handle. Okay. I think that's kind of a fair kind of thing to say. But remember to think about like it's not all about binge eating either. You know, some people think like, oh my God, I'm just gonna eat so much that day. And then next day it's like Lori's saying right now she doesn't feel good. I will say that when I've overate and done some stuff that is not been that healthy, I'm telling you the next day it's like you feel like you got run over by a train. So what good is that going to do for you for the rest of your holidays when you could be doing fun stuff, right? So we're gonna notch through some stuff, but Laura, do you got stuff you want to add at this point?
Well, just like you said, you got to really watch what you eat and make sure, that you kind of are aware, what people usually make for holidays in your family. So you know what foods they have and stuff. And one of the things that we're going to talk about too is making sure that you maybe not go to your party being totally famished, so that when you walk in, it's like, where's the food? Where's the drinks? You know what I mean? So yeah, that's, take a few minutes to think about before you start eating something. Kind of look around and see what you could eat that would be better for you. Man, there's so many, cheese dips and shrimp you could have. Shrimp is good for you. A lot of people put shrimp and cocktail sauce on. Yeah, and that's a good appetizer to have. And I know being Italian, we eat a lot of pasta for the holidays. So just be mindful of stuff like that. But yeah, it's definitely, you have to just take a few minutes when you walk in a room or you're going to a party and you look at the food and think about what you really want to eat. Because again, you end up overeating, or it's like I call it mindless eating. I think I coined the phrase mindless eating because I'm the queen of that. And I always have to be doing something too. And so, I have to think about it this year when I'm going to parties and stuff. What am I going to be doing so I'm not grabbing the food off the table? Do you have that issue, Debbie?
And it's funny, because everything looks so good, And one thing, you know what is really good to do is as you're leaving your house to go to wherever you're going or you're having people over, have some apple, like cut up apple slices because there's a lot of fiber in them and they kind of fill you up a little bit, so maybe you won't eat as much. But you said too, about some of the stuff, a lot of vegetables and nuts and all that stuff is so good, so good for you. Um, all right, I don't want to be like bad thing, but everybody talks about eggnog. Do you know that there's like 500 calories in eggnog? Oh my God. Okay, that's a lot. You know, I mean, I know this is going to be crazy. Not everybody's a drinker, but you know, some of the wines and beers have a ton of calories too. So sometimes you can come up with a festive drink, and maybe it's cranberry and vodka, or it's, I love Bloody Marys, so this is good. Like they got the tomato juice and all that, but maybe
Yeah.
you could alternative. But drink lots of water. Okay,
Yeah.
drink water between, provide water for your guests, even if it's like in a pitcher with lemons in it, okay? Or if it's water bottles, have it out on the counter because not, number one, hydration is so important in general, but a lot of people forget to do that and then they start to serve themselves with some alcohol and it could be a train wreck for those people in more ways
Yeah.
than
Oh, yeah, it can be. And, and the thing is, too, is, I always feel too, and I know you feel that same way, Debbie. When you drink water and you're eating food that's not the greatest for you, at least it's flushing it out and it's not staying in your system.
totally. And you know what? I got one. Put your dancing shoes on too.
I love that. Love that.
On music, guys, and start dancing, having fun, goofing around. I mean, just make your holiday festive fun. Do as much as you can to say it's not all about the food that we have right here. It could be about what are we going to do as an organized situation. Lori and I were talking on the phone yesterday, kind of preparing for what we're going to talk about. We were talking about how, like, how many times they're in a family or place and everybody sits down and they're staring at the TV or they're on the couch and they're half falling asleep. So think ahead and have some games ready, okay? Like whether it's a dancing thing or a karaoke thing or a Pictionary thing or left, right, center
Yeah.
or what's the one? Oh gosh, where you have to pass the little thing and you got it. It's almost like charades. I can't think of it right now, but it's with a little like disc. Someone might, well, you might
Sure. I'm not sure.
one game and you have to click it and you've got teams and you're all sitting around each other. but try to make everything interactive. So you're constantly moving around and doing things and then making sure that everyone is having a good time, but you, the host yourself, needs to have a good time. If you plan it right, you can do that, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, Debbie, what would you say to people? Because this is what I have, and I'm still struggling with the idea of what to do. And maybe you could help me out and help our audience out too. What would you suggest to people that have a hard time just sitting there talking and there's food and right in front of them, like snacks? Like I have a hard time when I'm sitting there and there's like a plate of cheese and crackers and salamis and stuff, and I don't want to eat it, but then I keep staring at it, keep staring at it, and then I start eating it. What would you suggest?
You know what? I gotta tell you, it's hard. You know what? You gotta think to yourself. I think we have this mind over matter. I really do.
Yeah, I agree.
I will be the first to admit that if I have a little bit too much to drink in the alcohol department, I am going to eat more. Okay. So I think that it can stem from that for some people. For me, it certainly does. But because I just get like late, oh, I'm just gonna eat it. And then I'm gonna pay for it. So I guess it's just a matter of just trying to think through this stuff and trying to have that mind over matter and try to walk away and like think about when you look around the room who is maybe sitting and not talking to somebody and maybe go sit next to them for a
Yeah,
little
that's a good idea.
up a little bit. Maybe they're not feeling like being very talky, or maybe they want to, but some people don't do well in a busy environment. Even as people age, I've noticed that people don't like that, but they like that one-on-one conversation. So maybe if
Right, exactly. I love the idea of the games.
totally, totally. And catchphrase. That's the name of the game.
Oh, okay. That sounds like a good game.
Inexpensive game you can get at Target or somewhere, and it looks like a saucer, and you're doing this constant like moving around, and people having to. There's two teams, and you got to read the directions. It's super easy, but
Okay. Oh, that sounds like fun. And you know what? You're kind of going in and out too at times. So you might want to stay forward to. I don't know what it is with our audio.
internet has been, and the way that this whole platform has
Yeah.
been. But anyways, all right. So play like again, that kind of brings us back to pay attention to what really matters. What really
Right.
going on? Why are you together? And then you know what? I'm gonna throw something in there that's completely random. Isn't even part of this, but I think we need to address it, and I think we need to do it because
Mhm.
hosts or people that you're going somewhere, be the mindful one. And if you get yourself in a position and maybe you're having a little bit of not good conversation, maybe somebody's talking about somebody they shouldn't, or a little gossipy, or whatever's going on, you need to change the subject immediately. I don't care what.
Right. Exactly.
Do not get in conflict and do not allow it. Okay. And so
Right.
very, very what's the word I want to say? Elegant way. And
Yeah.
happen because more families get in conflicts at family functions and then they hold grudges and they don't talk. So
Right. Exactly. I agree. And you don't have to bring it up to like make a point about it. Just slowly change the subject, you know?
exactly. So Laura, like, okay, let's talk a little bit about your take on the stress of prepping for what you got to do, the baking. We talked about,
Oh, wow. I got news for you. I
we always
did.
talk the best of the whole world, but let's talk about
Oh, thank you. Um, well, this year I'm doing something different. I decided I'm not going to bake that much. I usually make about 40 or 50 baskets of cookies every year for Christmas, and I get myself so stressed out about it. And I eat the cookies, I eat the dough, and then I'm sick to my stomach and I have a headache and I'm a diabetic, and it's just a chain reaction. And I was talking to it's funny, I was talking to my son who watches his weight all the time. I says, I'm really not going to do much with cookies this year. He goes, well, that's great. He says, why should you bring cookies to people that are always trying to watch their weight and not, it's like you're shoving, oh, it's okay. You can just eat whatever you want. It's Christmas time. But you know what? You're being mindful of that. You like I am going to make cookies, but like for my friends at church, and I'm giving them just one or two or three cookies in a little baggie with some candy. I'm not doing the whole trays and everything because I can't do it. I pay the price in the long run. And I really want to enjoy this holiday this year. I don't want to be sick to my stomach.
I also want to say this, Lori, you and I kind of made friends together about this, and it's unfortunate to think this way, but I think we have to. It's gotten very expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff. And like, I am a very big advocate of like, I don't like throwing things out. Like, and
Yeah, right.
one point in time, if you don't freeze the stuff or whatever, there's times where you'll have cookie trays around the house, and there's just like a point where you're like, all right, you're just gonna purge it. And it's like, it's money down the garbage, and it's sad because those items could have been used for something else. There's the sugars and the whatever. So it's kind of it's sad to think that way, but it's not healthy. And
It's and it's, and there's so many bakeries out there. The grocery stores have really good bakery. But, if even if you just gave your neighbors just a few cookies and stuff, I think they would really appreciate it. Like I said, you don't realize how much it costs. I mean, we used to spend about five, six, seven, $800 on cookies every year. And you know what? I rather take that money and do something else with it. We have grandkids now, so we want to do more for our grandkids. And there's so much we could do for homeless people, and there's so many charities out there. I mean, it's just crazy. We really have to prioritize things. Is it really going to make a difference for the Christmas holiday? Are you going to remember that I didn't make cookies for you this year? I don't know. Maybe you will. I
well,
don't know.
there's only one thing I will say on a funny note that, I always like freeze a cookie when I get your cookies.
Yeah.
And getting one cookie and having that, like you're saying, giving them to people instead of a big tray is just as good, because how many cookies can one person consume?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Let me just say this. I have a really good thought here. And we talked about this yesterday too together. That, we're both grandparents and we love to do things with our grandkids. And so do other people that are watching. And then there's going to be people watching that have kids. And so well, you're like, okay, well, the cookie baking thing has always been a big deal in my family. But what if you do a little switcheroony and you do, okay, let's do gingerbread houses, and let's like make this, let's have this be a tradition, because we're all about the traditions. Doesn't mean that
Right.
not gonna bake. I mean, there's families that get together and they all bake and they do bake-offs and they trade cookies and they do that. And
Right.
it's actually a good idea. But maybe this year for you might be like, you know what? I don't have the time, whatever.
Mm.
Spend the time with your family, your grandkids, children, making gingerbread houses, and have like and go to all these and buy all the things that you need to have, which isn't that much, and make stuff, and then you're creating a memory and it's a tradition. So I think that would be fun.
Yeah, and you were saying that you were able to save a gingerbread house.
I didn't like I had to get rid of it after a while, but we had one that was like, I'm not even kidding, it was this big. And we just took a bunch of like boxes and stuck it underneath it. And then so we built around it so that there was something to secure it. And we made, an outside, and then built up to the roof. And we had to do it little sections because it was a little bit heavier. But then when we went to go decorate it, which we had to wait to do after it dried, I mean, we man, it was fun. So those are fun things to do, and they have the
Yeah.
mix that you could actually have, each person could have their own little one, or you could do one together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like I was telling you yesterday, Mariano's had them already put together, not the candy and anything on there, but they had the actual base house, and they had lots of them. They had them all wrapped in cellophane, and I can't remember how much they were, but they weren't bad. And I thought, oh my gosh, that would be so much fun to do. And that, yeah.
So then another thing we were talking about too, and I think this is one thing that we really have to talk about is, okay, so some people get to the point, and I get it. We all like we've got work or commitment or whatever, and you're hustling and bustling and you're rushing to get to the point where you have to get all your to-dos done and you got to wrap all your gifts, and then all of a sudden it comes to the day of and you're just like you're exhausted. And so try to find ways that you can kind of channel it, do things ahead. Some people say, well, I don't do Christmas cards anymore because I just don't have the time or don't want to. Maybe you could do a couple to the people that you really want to reach out to, but do what you feel you can do and what you want to do to be able to just, enjoy your times and get to the point when you do have your holiday that you're actually able to just enjoy. And that
Enjoy it.
it's not all about how many gifts and how many this and how many that, but it is definitely about, the whole what it all is about. So anyway,
Yeah, but you know what we did for Thanksgiving, and I talked about it before, but we're doing the same thing for Christmas because we all have health issues on Gary's side of the family, including me and stuff. We're all recovering. And so for Thanksgiving, we ordered catered in from Cracker Barrel, and it was the best turkey I've ever had. And we all sat around, we made some sides, and some desserts, but it was not that stressed like we normally do. And we enjoyed the holidays so much. Now we're doing it again for Christmas. And they have prime rib you could actually order. So we'll see how that's going to be. But just to have not have that stress, all I have to do is bring a jello there. I mean, I used to make like two or three things or whatever, and I just get up early and get all stressed out about it. And, everybody gets there and we're just like exhausted. So I'm looking forward to it. I really think that everybody needs to just think about that. Think about, like Debbie said, what is the most important thing about your holiday?
I love that idea. And you know what, Lori, for simplifying it, in case if somebody doesn't want to do the whole thing like that,
Yeah.
and I'm doing it this for Christmas Eve, actually ordering out one item that is something I don't want to cook. That's a little harder or more time consuming and sometimes more economical getting a tray of because by the time you buy it and buy all the
Yeah.
ingredients, you spend all this time and then make a few of the things that you want to and have everybody pitch in. I love there's nothing wrong with that's a good thing, right? It's just
Yeah, right.
do that, because then you can spend the time doing the things you want to do. Or if you're at that point, holidays approaching, take a cat nap so that you can kind of have like a little, like feel refreshed because then you're going to be like good for the whole night or good for the whole day or good for whatever.
Right, right.
This is the time that you have to reflect on your whole family. So
Right, you really do. And the thing is just, I know, like I said, a lot of us have adult children and stuff, and we don't get to see. Well, you see your children a lot, but your one daughter doesn't live with you and her husband. So, just to spend that time with them. How about an old-fashioned card game? Yeah.
for you guys. And
I
Lord,
mean,
you played left, right, center though too with the
oh yeah, I love that game. Absolutely love it.
cards. There's card games. Like what would be one you guys would play? A card game.
Well, we grew up playing poker and it's been a while since we played card games. I hope this year that we play some over by Gary's family. I know where we're going to his niece on Christmas Eve. She's a big game player, likes to play games. So I'm looking forward to that. So,
I think the old Pictionary and charade thing is
oh yeah, right, right. There's nothing like being silly.
and you could it's just, and that's why that one too, that catchphrase one is a good one because
Yeah.
on that lines we have to do some figuring out by phrases, and figure out what the phrase, the missing words or whatever are or so. But I think we've covered so much stuff. I think that we should do something definitely after the start of the year on how to be stress free in the new year. Because that's always, but I was just gonna say, sorry, that I think that if anybody has anything they want to input, we love it. We are still working on growing. We've got some great interviews coming up. We had a great interview just recently, and we've got some more coming up. And I don't know, Laura, you want to close us out? Today's a great day.
Yeah, I just want to say something real quick, okay? Because I'm like the queen of being space head because I'm trying to do too many things at once. Always keep in mind where your cell phone is at.
Yeah.
I misplaced my cell phone so many times this week, and I'm just saying that because you're wrapping packages. Have you ever like lost your scissors and then somebody goes and opens up a package and there's a pair of scissors in there? So I mean, just I lost my phone somewhere today. So
My gosh.
maybe if I don't answer when you call me, you understand why. So
Oh my God. Well, at least it's hopefully somewhere, they do have that like thing where you can find your phone, but I don't know how if you can't find your phone, where
If you don't have a phone, how you gonna find your phone, right? So,
oh,
well, thank God Gary's got his phone. So if you need to get a hold of me, just call me on Gary's, okay?
okay, Laura.
All
Well,
right, and I'm gonna close this out. You guys have a great week. Enjoy the last hurrah of shopping, baking, spending time with friends, and just make it about having a great holiday. We love you guys, and I'm Lori,
I'm Debbie.
and we're friends helping friends. We'll see you next week. Bye bye.
Sure.